Welcome back once again, Redblurr Gamers. We're just going to continue on with our Imperial Guard Kazakins and the Commissar in the next few videos. I do have some other stuff that I will paint. I have a command squad and some Cadians, shock troops. Eventually they will all get done and uploaded to the same process. So this is obviously I paint Imperial Guard. Welcome back to Redblurr Gaming. As you can see, I'm painting away here, and I just put down a Kazakin who had the hotshot volley gun with whatnot. He is one of the models from Kill Team that I have. They've all been primed, base coated, and look like such. They've got this what would be a beret on their head, painting them in what is considered to be a World War II-esque colour here for SAS Special Forces troops. I'm just going through and touching up some of these guys where I hadn't quite got all of the colour in a way that is good. So you can see what I'm doing. But yeah, obviously everyone starts a new army at some point in time. I understand 11th coming up, that some people like to start then. I'm starting now, with the hope that come the mid of 11th I will be able to play, possibly have a competitive 2,000 point, at least if not competitive, in a style that I'm happy to play, Imperial Guard Army. I know what I feel comfortable running. I've definitely got a little bit of a crazy-ish plan on hand as to what I'm going to run. I've had a look at some units at what I think would work well, and I'm going to go from there. That's the plan, is to go from there to get these units painted up, hopefully, and be able to continue on that path. I'm just going to whack in, hilariously, I might paint this bottle lid. A slightly interesting colour, given that top half of that pouch is obviously got to be fixed. In the last episode I painted some of these grenades that are attached to the belt of the Kazakin. I do not know what I did to the back of this guy. You can see it's quite speckledy, the way his armour is coming up across the back of him here. So I'm assuming that it's a dirty big old fingerprint from where I've attempted to prime him and got my finger in the way and then re-primed over it, or it's possibly a fingerprint from when I was gluing him together and got some glue on my finger, and the fingerprint has stayed on the model from the glue. Now I'm just going to have to get in here and paint this belt and belt buckle, and try not to get any of this too far off the beaten path, because it's not where we're really looking to get this in and on and in the right spot. As you can see, it's quite light there, but that's what we're going with at the moment. We're going to go through a few coats, very much like anyone would if they were painting properly. I'm attempting to paint these guys in the more traditional sense of multiple thin coats of paint to get them looking somewhat crisp is the plan. Whether or not it works, that's a totally different kettle of fish. So it's hard to pick out exactly where his straps are for his backpack. It seems to sit differently compared to some of the others. He is one of the heavy gunner options. So yeah, as you can see, same with this guy. It's really hard to see where his waist strap is, his belt, but at least I can get some on the back there, which I will do. So just in this section here, if you can see what I'm doing, there will be a little bit of different colour go in, because that is where the belt is. It runs around and then disappears under his armour, which is all well and good. Technically it also kind of goes across the top there, but in a way that I am unable to actually get it painted, because again, he has a lot of armor. This is the heavy armor guy, so he does the demolition guy. He has the mine, as you can see there, the demo mine, for dropping on the unsuspecting. We have the heavy flame guy, who also has his head fall off. We can get in and similar function, attempt to paint some of his belt because it's visible. And with his arms out of the way, head fell off was an accident. Doesn't mean I have to glue it back on again, which is a little painful, but it is what it is. But for right now, we get to get in nice and close, and we can actually, thankfully for the wet palette, we still have access to the race bone, which is what I'm using, which allows for me to get in and paint the colour on his belt, which is the same for all of the troops. So like, as I said in a previous video, and I'll love to repeat myself because I feel like it's valid. It also provides good information for you guys. They're based off World War II SAS / Australian desert soldiers from the Second World War, who fought in places like the Battle of El Alamein, Tobruk, Syria, Jordan. My grandfather was one of those troopers, so this is a slight homage, as you would say, to him and the unit he served in. Currently, right now, I am about to grab a very, very tiny brush, because I have to go around and get this on the brush and make sure that I get all of this edge section of back plate with the cobalt without going too much over the lines, because I don't want to get over the lines. I'm trying this is a competition piece, first time ever entering such a thing. To be honest, I'm pretty nervous. I don't really feel or think like I've done a good job, so I'm expecting to not score very well. But it's also designed to push my skills and abilities anyway, given the fact that I've not entered one before. So that's the point of this, is that hopefully once this is complete and I have done what I need to do, that I will feel a little more confident in my own abilities and be able to go ahead and really push myself some more, which is the plan, and try and get away slightly from a lot of the slap chop method. I know that I have been slightly moving away from that anyway with the way that I painted my tower, which was semi-slap chop, semi-not. It was a lot of shading of colours to bring gradients into play, changing of, really pushing. I thought myself to really go for that. I used a lot of dry brushing techniques to change the mannerism or the patterns of the colours I use. Now I know that I used white, I primed white and then dry brushed with multiple different variants of white before panel lining with black, and then using some black to paint their legs, etc. This allowed for a little bit of, make sure I've got some, I've got some just, don't I? This allowed for some change in technique, I would probably say. Just allowed me to try something slightly newish that I felt quite comfortable with, to be honest. I know it can be quite daunting to do something new. And I definitely know it was for me because it was such a big change to the way that I had previously painted that I felt very unsure as to whether or not I'd done the right thing or a good job or anything like that. I was quite happy with the way my army turned out. I know I didn't score very well with the painting when it came to it, because they had a set standard they were working towards, and it was very hard to differentiate if my models actually fell into that standard they were looking at because of the way I had painted, which, as I said, like, it does make it hard, it does suck that was the case, but at the same time I had a lot of fun painting that army. It will be a very good memory for me because it was quite a lot of fun. Just trying to smooth some of these colours out because they're slightly kind of a bit doopy on me. Just making sure that I haven't gone too far in any direction. There is a little bit of like so, and we make our way down. We are using a slimmer, smaller brush, so we're hoping that this can actually really change possibly some of the areas I have painted in to hopefully smooth them out slightly. But let's just get a little bit more on there, and this might be the end of the brown after this. I'm just making sure that I haven't really killed it too badly. Last little bit. Let's go over this section and try and smooth out that colour. Have a look at the front. There's a few sections on the front here where it seems like the white and the grey undercoat is coming back through from where I actually originally primed the mini and possibly where my fingers have been touching. There we go. So, whoop, get off me. That little guy seems to have possibly had a good section of paint added to it. I do have to get back in there with the, because this is the brown I was using. I'm going to use a different brush because I want to get more on the wet palette than what that brush allows me to, so definitely going to pull a bit more off here and get it in there. There we go. Which will allow for, now that this has dried slightly and we've got a little bit more paint there, to be able to go around and just re-edge the section between his two pieces of armour on his wrist here. Definitely got a little, changed a little, oh shit, brown and gold. It definitely changed a little unintentionally when I was putting in the tan. I got over ran over the edge slightly. So I'll just touch this up a little bit. There we go. One down. On the go. I've got a sword that just is not staying painted the way I need it to. It's being very painful. As you can see, make your way around, touching up what needs to be touched up, making sure that it's nice and neat. Like so. Come back around. Close as we can. There we go. We might also actually have a piece of, now that the light's changed colour, piece of this that I could see was not quite as smooth or as dark as I was planning for. I'm just gonna attempt to get that to do what I want it to do. And given that this is the edge there, no one's going to see that, but let's just touch that up around the corner. Sorted. I'm getting very, very close to being able to glue this one all back together completely. There is a few bits and pieces that do have to be finished off, where I'm going to need the fine brush that I'm using now, which somehow I lost the, no I didn't, there it is, cap for, because I don't want to get this one burnt or damaged, because it is a very good brush. But yeah, as you can see, coming along, we haven't got long left. It's got to be installed by Friday. I'm hoping that that will be the case. Gonna need to get some water over here. Gotta fix it. Hope it will. feel like it needs a touch up this bit. Just get a little bit more colour in on the panel that I am happily colouring. I'm trying to make it different. I'm really pushing my skills. Anyway, there we go. That is the end of that one. And as per always, you know, peace and love, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.